Welcome to Talk Radio with Dr. K, the place where talk is power. You are listening live at WOKB 1680 AM. I am so thrilled that you have joined me for another episode of Talk Radio with Dr. K. Last week we had a replay, and I even heard from many of you regarding the replay that you thoroughly enjoyed the replay. I think it was Please Press Pause, was it? What was it, Glenn? What was last week?
It was The Weight.
The Weight of the Weight.
The Weight of the Weight.
Oh, yeah. That's one of our classics.
No.
That wasn't it?
The other one with the weight, not The Weight of the Weight.
The other one with the weight,
yeah.
not the weight of the weight. Okay, so wait for it.
Yeah.
Wait for it.
It wasn't The Weight of the Weight. Hold on just a second.
I just know that it was so good. You know what that
really
tells
was.
me, though, Glenn? What that tells me is, at this point, we have so many in our vaults.
Isn't that good?
Right? That we can choose from. And speaking of that, if you've been missing any of our past episodes, don't worry. You can go to the I'mGod'sGirlForReal.com website, and they are all housed there. So all you have to do is click on podcast, and you will find all of the past episodes. Did you find it yet?
Dropping the Weight.
Dropping the weight.
That was good.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good. So it was a replay, but we also had in there text in to check in. So people were actually texting to check in last week, even though it was a replay. And I'm sure, you know, the stellar job you do, Glenn, of course, nobody knew it wasn't live if they had not heard it before. But thank you, Glenn, for all you do to help make Talk Radio with Dr. K what it is. I so greatly appreciate you. And listen, speaking of the I'mGod'sGirlForReal.com website, you know, I have talked about I'm God's Girl for Real. Glenn did an amazing commercial. You hear it often while we're on the air, the I'm God's Girl for Real commercial and an invitation for you to join the network. But listen, I've got a really special announcement and invitation for you now. So our upcoming conference, the 2020 I'm God's Girl for Real virtual conference, is coming. It's going to be on October 31st. We've been announcing the conference, and it was going to be here in sunny Orlando. But, you know, the pandemic kind of interrupted those plans. We were going to have it at the Rosen Shingle Creek. However, it's okay, right? Technology is amazing for these kinds of things. And so the virtual conference is coming, and this year's theme is so near and dear to my heart. It is free indeed. Free indeed. So this is what I want you to do. All of those of you ladies who are listening, I want you to go to the I'mGod'sGirlForReal.com website. That's I'mGod'sGirlForReal altogether.com. Go to the website and get registered for the virtual conference. We even have a t-shirt for you. So while you're there to register for the conference, please stop by our shop and pick up your conference t-shirt. It's beautiful. It says free indeed, right? What a powerful message to carry around on your chest. Free indeed. She who the Son sets free is truly free indeed. And we've even had some shows dedicated to freedom. So you definitely don't want to miss this conference. We've got amazing speakers, praise and worship. One of our featured speakers is Tara Carissa Hodges. You all may be familiar with her. She's a featured speaker. Another speaker is Heather Pound. She's a freedom influencer. I've actually had her as a guest on the show. So stay tuned and check the website often so you can understand and get information related to what's going on related to the 2020 I'm God's Girl for Real virtual conference. Go register today. You don't want to miss this. And listen, this is the beauty of this. You could be at home in your PJs and still be at the conference. It's from 10 to 12. We're only going to keep you for 2 hours, but it's going to be a power-packed 2 hours. And more than any other guest that will be there, our guest of honor will be there, which is God. And so you don't want to miss just being in his presence. So one more time, I'm God's girl for real.com. I'm doing it in slow motion, Glenn. I don't want them to miss it. I'm God's girl for real.com. Go there, get registered. Reasonable registration rate. Grab your t-shirt and let's all experience God together. And so we can make that declaration. We are free indeed. So I've got a wonderful show planned for you today, and I'm going to jump right into it. Is our first guest with us yet? She's called in. Excellent. I knew she would. She's just amazing like that. But we're going to be talking about our God assignment. Our God assignment. You know, I am a firm believer that when God was thinking of us, before we were ever in our mother's womb, before we were ever here on earth, he had a design and a purpose, a plan, a destiny for our lives. And we've got so many scriptures that point us to that we are not here just to occupy space. We are here on divine assignment. And one of the greatest tragedies I think we could ever experience is to be sent here on divine assignment and return to the Father, never having lived out that assignment. I think that's going to be tragic. And so I have really been spending so much of my time, and I really believe that this was just a divine orchestration and appointment to me from God to really start to hone in on our God assignment. And so I've really been working with some amazing women around the assignment strategy process. Like, how do we get clear about that assignment? How do we get aligned with that assignment? How do we become accountable to that assignment? How do we guard against threats to that assignment? So God gave me an entire program, if you will, that I've been working with some amazing women around their God assignments as a part of my own God assignment. And so I am absolutely thrilled to have this conversation today with some other women that I know who are really committed to their God assignment. And I thought I would ask them to come and join in this conversation because I am watching them just really step into and live in their God assignment. So my first guest is Katrina J. Miller. She is amazing. And I'm going to ask her to just introduce herself to you. Katrina, welcome to Talk Radio with Dr. K.
Thank you, Dr. K, for having me.
I am so excited you're here. I'm so very excited you're here. And, you know, our topic today is our God assignment. And I was just sharing with the listeners, as you heard, just some of the work I'm doing around God assignment. But I know that you are doing some phenomenal things as you have taken this leap into your God assignment. So I wanted you to come and share, first of all, share with our listeners who you are, your God identity, and then just share with us a little bit about your God assignment and what you're doing in the world.
So let me just begin by saying I am so thankful to be here and that I am on assignment today. Thank you for the invitation. So first and foremost, I am a daughter of the King.
Yes.
I am a believer. I am a minister. I am an educator, an encourager, all of those things. And so sometimes professionally in terms of what I do, being a radiologic technologist, being a professor, doing all those things, having a degree in sociology, psychology, a minor in biology, but none of that matters until you put that under the umbrella of what did God put me here to do.
Yes.
And so him bringing, and sometimes we think we know, and I'm not saying that I've been off assignment my whole life, but we have to realign and get in alignment with the season that we're in terms of what is our assignment now. Because what my assignment was at 20 is not what my assignment was at 30, is not what my assignment is at 40, at 50, and so on. And so we have to be in tune with God and be open and willing to listen and to actually be a beginner again.
That's
we have
good.
to be willing to know how accomplished we are, no matter how many degrees we have, no matter if we are the quote-unquote expert in our field. We still have to be willing to be a beginner for God. As a
Absolutely.
believer,
And I want to pause you there, because that is powerful. It doesn't matter kind of where, what we've accomplished, right? We didn't come here to accomplish. To accomplish. No. We came here so for example, we didn't come here to decorate our walls, right? That's a part of the process. But we are here on a God assignment. And I love that you said it's important, and I'm paraphrasing, but it is important to make sure we are in step with God. In step with God. I often say when He moves, we move, just like that, right? That's how we think about our God assignment. And I want to clarify, because even as I do this work around the assignment strategy process, I want to clarify kind of how I conceptualize the difference between purpose and assignment. We all have one purpose. Sometimes we are just actively asking the question and trying to get the answer to, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? Well, we all have the same purpose, and that is to bring glory to God, to glorify God. That is our purpose. We were created for His glory. The question is, how do we do that? And that is being obedient in our assignment. Being obedient in the things that He sent us here to do. So carrying out that assignment in alignment and accountability and clarity and guarding it, all of those things that are so critical as we walk out this God assignment. So I'm so grateful that you paused there to say being in step with God, even seasonally, because what I heard you say is that, what you could have been doing in one season may be totally different than what you're doing in this current season. So say a little more about that as it pertains to what you are assigned to do.
As it is related to what I'm supposed to do, I think that the umbrella of teaching is my gift. Teaching on administration. Those are my God-given gifts.
Yes.
He put it in me from the time that I was formed in my mother's womb. And so to nurture and to grow those gifts and to recognize where I am to serve, because I have an assignment, but then I have those who I am assigned to.
Yes.
And so we have to know that our assignment is connected to others. And if your assignment is not connected to another person, that's probably not your assignment. You need to go back to the drawing board and pray harder, and go back like Samuel and I'm sorry, did you call me, Lord?
Right.
Okay, I must have heard you wrong. Let me go back and come back again. So
that's
we've
good.
got to be willing to listen for not what we think and what our parents think and what our friends think, and not what our degree says. We've got to be listening for what God says is our assignment. And so,
and you know what? That's so good, because if we don't know our God assignment, there are people who will assign things to you, right? Yes. That will have nothing to, or have you so far away, and even sometimes so out of the will of the Father, right? Because we are not clear about our own God assignment. So we have these other people, places, and things imposing on us. Even again, I go back to the work that I get to do with some amazing women around strategizing with them related to their God assignment. And one of the things that we often talk about when they first start with me is their inability to say no.
Yes,
Their
and
inability to
I
say
must
no.
say that is a disease that many of us have, and that we need to have no anonymous, just like they have Alcoholics Anonymous and all the other things. We need to have no anonymous. And I
Right. Hello,
remember
my
from
name is Sue, and I cannot say
years.
no.
I remember from years ago. I went to a brunch that you were
Mm-hmm.
doing, and
Mm-hmm.
one thing that stuck out to me was that you said no means not obligated.
Yes.
Just because you offer it to me doesn't mean I have to accept. Just because it would work out for you doesn't mean I have to accept.
Yeah.
And we often say, things can be a good idea, but they're not a God idea.
Right.
So we have to
Absolutely. And
be
just because I
clear.
can do it doesn't mean I
Doesn't mean I
should. We have another phenomenal woman joining us today to talk about how she is living her God assignment in the earth. And she is joining us from Georgia. Quanda Jesse, are you here?
Yes, I am here.
Excellent. Welcome to Talk Radio with Dr. K. I'm so happy that you are able to join us today. Hopefully, you've been able to listen to some of the show so far. Krishna Miller talked to us right before you about how she's living her God assignment and what God assignment literally means to her. So I want to ask you the same thing. As you think about God assignment, what that means to you, and then we'll talk a little bit about what you're doing, how you're doing it, what God has assigned to you, and how you're literally living that out in the world. So first of all, tell our listeners a little bit about who you are.
Well, first of all, thank you, Dr. K, for inviting me and having me on your show. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate this place and this space. But I am Quanda Jesse. I'm from Georgia. I'm living in Evans, Georgia. And above anything, I am God's girl for real.
Yeah, you better get it in there. See there, I love these little commercials y'all get in here. You are
Yes.
God's girl for real. Listen, hold on. So go register for the conference. That's a real quick interjection into. All
Yes,
right,
I am
Quanda, go right
truly-
ahead.
I really am. I love the space that God has me in, and the space that you're creating is a wonderful space. And as Krishna said, I have to echo a lot of things that she said because I did listen to her part of the show, and she is absolutely correct in everything that she was saying. But I also have to give a shout out to the assignment strategy because, like her, I raise both my hands and say, hey, I'm part of that as well.
Yes. Thank you. I had the honor of working with you in the assignment strategy process as well. And it was my honor to take that journey with you and just watch God show up in every one of our sessions and show up in such a major way with his confirmation, his stamp of approval on your God assignment. So it was certainly an honor.
It was, and I enjoyed every piece of it. As the weeks would unfold, I would remember, oh, my God, I only got 2 weeks left. Oh, my God, I only got 1 week left. What am I going to do when I no longer can kick up and say, hey, I'm ready? And I was like, okay, God, but you've assigned me for this.
Yes.
So I've got my clarity. I'm aligned. I know who I'm accountable to, and I know my audience. So I just appreciate the platform that God has given you, and you're operating in your assignment.
Yes.
So you can reach to those people that God has assigned to you.
Amen. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Well, as I said before, it was such a blessing to have you a part of that process. So now that you've gone through the process, talk to our listeners about how you perceive God assignment and what you're doing in the earth as it relates to your clarity about your God assignment.
My God assignment is dealing with grief. God has called me to this area, and I know it's not something that I would have chosen for myself. This is what God called me to do. I didn't wake up saying, this is what I'm going to do. But when life happened, God said, this is the moment that I've been preparing you for.
Wow.
There's a song that I often find myself listening to by the late, great Darren Coley, and it's entitled, He's Preparing Me.
He's preparing me.
And as I look back, yes. And as I look back over my life and I begin to see areas and changes and things that been happening, I'm like, okay, God, this is something that you have been preparing me for all along. But I couldn't understand it because I had not been clear. I didn't have clarity.
I'm going to bring in my sissy, Dr. Lady Christy Searcy, to share these final moments with me on Talk Radio with Dr. K. Welcome, sissy.
Thank you so much, Dr. K. As always, I am excited to be here. And listen, I did not know that I could watch it on Facebook Live.
Yeah,
so I got so excited.
This
when
is
you
one of
announced
the
that,
new.
I started watching.
This is one of the new features. So hey, Facebook people, I'm waving. I often say, y'all can't see me. This is what I'm doing, but now you can see me. So you get to see me all live and animated in the studio. But thank you, Sissy, for joining me, and I'm so glad that you're able to watch as well. But I wanted to have your voice, just your words, and for us to have final words together today, because we talked to Krishna Miller, we talked to Quanda Jesse about their assignment strategy process with me, and how they ended up being a part of that process. But I want you to tell the beginning of that story and how they came to me. So please share, Sissy.
I am so excited to share. I feel like a proud mama in this moment. So I am so excited for both Krishna and Krishna and Quanda, because I've known them for a very long time, probably about the same amount of years. I've known both of them roughly about 13 years or so, and I've seen the journeys that they shared with you. I know their stories. Everything that Quanda said to me just rang so true. I remember seeing her navigate grief like nobody I've ever seen.
Wow.
She told her story, of losing her parents and losing her husband. And, I watched how she went through that stronger than anybody I've ever seen. And then I've known so much of Krishna's story intimately, and the things that she's encountered and the way in which she triumphed through the things that she's faced. And to fast forward to this particular time and season when I stepped into my God assignment with Woman Come Forth.
Yes.
And so I've had an opportunity on more than one occasion to talk about Woman Come Forth on your show, but thank you for inviting me today when you have a show that is all about God assignment, because that is what Woman Come Forth is all about. It is all about pushing women toward their God assignment.
Yes.
And so, of course, when Woman Come Forth began, from the beginning, I had the support of Krishna. From the beginning, I had the support of Quanda. They were pushing me to come forth in my assignment, but I don't think they realized that God had a bigger plan, and Woman Come Forth was going to stir something in their spirit, and that the roles were about to reverse, and Woman Come Forth was about to be pushing them forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's been an amazing journey. You hosted the Woman Come Forth conference a couple of months ago, and both Krishna and Quanda were participants, and Krishna was even an assistant to you in the Woman Come Forth conference. And even then, I don't think they knew completely completely that conference and the other Bible studies and the other things that you do were going to be a part of pushing them forth into their God assignment and landed them into the assignment strategy process with me. And that's how I recognize the hand of God on so many of these things. And so when we say yes to God, we open ourselves up for his divine orchestration in our lives to lead us to the very thing and situate us in our God assignment, not just kind of living on assignment, but living in assignment. It is our dwelling place. It becomes the very air we breathe. And so, Sissy,
Yes.
I'm so grateful that you are living in your God assignment, because it is the birthing place for other women to have the opportunity to then step into theirs.
That's right. That's right.
And so any
it-
last
it's
words?
such
As
an
we-
awesome-
Glenn is kicking
Well,
us
yes,
off.
I was
So
just-
any last
Uh-oh.
words? Go right ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say, and what was also powerful about that, as I give my last words, the assignment strategy program was brand new.
Yes.
Right at the time that I was launching or preparing to host that virtual conference. So it was just a matter of all of these things colliding at the exact moment that God intended for them to collide. And what I love about the spirit and the heart of both Krishna and Kwanda is when I said, you need this program, they said, okay.
Yes.
And they moved forward. It was not even a question. And so I'm so
Absolutely.
proud of them. And thank you, Dr. K, for continuing the work in their life. And I cannot wait to see what they are about to produce.
Amen. Thank you, lady. Dr. Christy Searcy. Love you so much. That's going to do it for us. We went over our time and Glenn led us. But thank you, Glenn, for letting us go over. Listen, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever you're facing, whatever is facing you, just remember to do this one thing: speak life.